GA radio and television facilities in downtown Macon. This is your Mix in the Morning.
Good morning, 7:33. I'm Gail Daniels.
Darren Bowers here, and you'll never guess who is here.
This was something completely different. Good morning.
Good morning.
Who left this sign here? I can't, no. Darren Latch is here. He is running for the Bibb County Board of Education
District 8. Post 8 at large. Sorry, it's county-wide.
Oh, it is? Okay. All right.
Anybody can vote for me, and please do.
All right, well, welcome back. It's good to have you here.
Yeah.
You got some good news this morning.
I have, and exclusively to the Mix on one of them. And yesterday I was very happy to receive the endorsement of the Middle Georgia Association of Realtors.
Yay.
On May 1st, it becomes all official, and I head out to their offices and pick up their check, their endorsement check, as well as their full endorsement.
That's great.
And I walked in here this morning, thank you very much, and was told that Alan Peake formally announced that he's supporting me as well.
Yeah, that's great. So, congratulations. Those are two good endorsements.
It is. Thank you. And to me, it's endorsements that matter. It's not a political publication putting out an endorsement.
Except for this one.
That's what I mean. It's not a political. It's not a political endorsement as such. The Middle Georgia Association of Realtors is a business, and they recognise the need to move the Board of Education forward. And get somebody in there who's actually going to bring.
Now, what do you say
Before we go any further, we need to say that Darren has agreed to take phone calls. So if you have a question concerning the Board of Education, give us a call at 745-5500. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Paid endorsement.
Oh, that's right. This segment of Mix in the Morning is paid for by Darren Latch for Bibb Board of Education.
Thank you.
So what do you have to say to, like the caller this morning who was endorsing your opponent? What do you have did you hear the whole phone call? I know you heard parts of it.
I only heard part of it because I was getting ready to come in this morning. I would challenge anybody who is endorsing my opponent to actually look at public record. We're all aware of the $51 million of misappropriated money and spent uselessly on things we can't even use. Every single vote that Romain Dalaman demanded and put out there to the board, it was a 5-3 vote. My opponent voted yes on anything and everything he wanted without looking into any of the issues. And that's why we're stuck with over $51 million of misappropriated funds right now. So, and just to add to it, I would, in recent headlines, we have seen that public officials have been calling for a full forensic investigation by the state and Department of Justice. I back that 100% because we need to get to the bottom of it, and the ties of those that profited, in my opinion, illegally from the misappropriation of funds.
Now that will go look into email communications and things like that, digging down into
the request for proposals.
Messages. And
Absolutely, and they can retrieve them.
Yeah.
Any server-based messages, which the Board of Education is, can be retrieved by forensic auditors.
That's going to come as a big surprise and scary thing to a lot of people.
Well, if we learned anything recently with the Stephen McDaniel case, nothing is erased forever.
Absolutely.
So it's down in there. Would you like to speak with Joe Allen on line 2?
No, sure.
Okay, Joe, what are you doing, man? Good morning.
Well, looking at the weather and thinking, do I get out?
Well, it's Joe. Let's keep it quick. He's there.
Okay.
Darren's paying for this.
You asked me the question. All I want to do is this, that, I want everybody out there that has supported me over the years for whatever I've endeavored or done with the programs I've done or been a commissioner, support Darren Latch. This guy here has unveiled everything that happened with Dalaman, with the school board, with the new, strong leadership. That young man right there, I have seen him working. He can do it. If you want to support somebody, get behind Latch. And if you don't do something within the 2 years he's going to be there, put it back on me. Latch is the one that can do the job.
All right, Joe.
That's all I need to say.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, Joe. Thank you.
Darren, obviously you're not from around here, and a lot of people have a problem with that, I think, that we're having some outsider come in and stick his nose in business that he doesn't belong in. What do you say to that?
Well, I am a full American citizen. When I was interviewed, and you can imagine I was vetted probably half a dozen times to get through this process now by the Department of Homeland Security. I have a thorough background check to even to get here in the first place. Part of the citizenship application is it gives you a history as well as a civics series of questions. And I got into a conversation with the interviewer, and part of a very broad statement on the application process and the citizenship certificate is your right and responsibility to perform your civic duty. And they do state it as a duty, and that's the way I'm looking at it. My wife and I have invested in making bid for a long term. It's going to take us a long time to pay off our house and land and everything else, and we're directly affected by the taxes of the Bibb County Board of Education. It's the same as when I got my county notice at the time. I think it was about $586, and then we got the Board of Education's tax, and it was almost triple that. And at a 46% graduation rate at the time, how can you justify such a massive expense? Now, I'm not the only one that's struggling. I mean, I know a lot of people that are struggling paying off their houses. But you've got to get some common sense back into government. You've got to give value. And you're talking about such a low graduation rate. Now, that's why people like Alan Peck and Middle Georgia Association of Realtors are backing me.
And Joe Allen.
And Joe Allen, absolutely. You know, in order to get Make and Bid moving forward, you've got to get an educational base that's going to promote to good employees, good new companies coming in. You've got to promote the area through education. And if you think education doesn't affect you, you couldn't be further from the truth. If you own a home, if you buy a car, if you buy any products or services here, it's all taxed. And we're looking at potentially another tax. I don't know if you saw about the $1 million shortfall on salaries for the Board of Education employees. They're looking at tax increases.
Sure.
Well, when you consider they lost $51 million, that's got to be made up somewhere.
Well, going back several months ago, 2 board members had a solution, and I'm not going to name them. I think it should be pretty much common knowledge. Their solution was 2 things: raise taxes or furlough or fire teachers. How can you move forward with that seriously? That's the problem.
We do have other callers.
Sure.
Do you wish to do that? Ron of the Macon Promise neighborhood.
No, he wants to talk about
He wants to talk about it. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ron. Go ahead with your question.
Tell me your position on the Macon Promise neighborhood. Would you believe that it needs to go forward, or does it need to be stopped, and how in the world are we going to pay for that?
Okay, I understand, Ron. Thank you very much for your question. It has been implemented and contracts have been signed. This is something that I am really not happy with, and it's central to a lot of the corruption that we see within the Board of Education and the ties within the Board of Education. Tommy Barnes and Romain Dalman signed an illegal contract. There is no doubt there. They encumbered us with over 10 years worth of contractual obligations to the tune of over $28 million. I can't deny there are some good parts of the program, working in collaboration with community service organisations, non-profit government organisations, and vetted partners, and I mean vetted as in background checked partners. Parts of it should still go forward. I believe that we have a significant problem here in Make and Bid. It needs to be addressed somehow or another. I do believe that some of the contracts, if they were to be scrutinised legally, would be able to walk away from those contracts. There's certain figures here in Make and Bid that have profited hugely and immorally from these contracts. But to answer your question in brief, parts of it need to go ahead, without doubt. We have a significant problem here which needs to be addressed.
Okay. And David on line 4.
David, good morning. What is your question?
Good morning, David.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Latch. Now, we've established that you are not from East Park.
Certainly.
Go ahead.
Yes, there's no problem with that at all. Now, Canberra is the capital of Australia, right?
Canberra? Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. How do you feel about Mandarin Chinese?
Mandarin Chinese, if it's a choice, that's perfectly fine. Any language is an expansion on education. As a mandated language to be taught, no, I don't agree with that at all.
Do you eat Chinese once or twice, 3 times a week?
All right, David, thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So we don't have a lot of time left. What else would you like to discuss this morning?
Well, all I'd really like to do is check the records. I've never wavered. I don't play the political game. I'm neither Democrat nor am I Republican. I am conservative by nature. I always have been and probably always will be. But that goes hand in hand with running a tight ship within the education department. I have been on this at my own cost, or my wife's my own cost, for the last 3 years. I don't intend to waver, and I hope that I can gain your trust and support, as I have over the last few years, for you to vote for Darren Latch, through early voting through to May 20th. If this is the most crucial election, it doesn't matter how you look at it, that making big faces beyond the consolidated government.
Do you have a website, or is it your Facebook page, or where do we go to? Where does one go to find more information about Darren Latch?
There is darrenlatch.com. There is also Darren Latch for Board of Education on Facebook, and my own Facebook page as well, and Bid School Supporters on Facebook also.
All right. And are you going to come back and visit us again before this is all over with?
At this stage, on the 20th of May, on election day, there might be something coming a little bit before that as well. But again, please check records. The caller earlier today is just ill-informed.
Well, we had another caller too that got into that and said when she was in her previous position that there was something there, and we didn't explore into that. But.
Well, and I think it was Bray, I think is the person who we were talking to at the time, was talking about, assigning numbers, and I think he was maybe talking about the BOE 5, which was his concern. And we have a minute or two left, so what is the BOE 5?
The BOE 5 was Tommy Barnes, Susan Middleton, Wanda West, Ella Carter, and Tom Hudson.
Okay.
Thank you. They facilitated every single decision that Romain Delaman wanted and fought hard for it, and stonewalled 3 board members, which was Gary Bechtel, Lynn Farmer and Sue Sype, for bringing common sense to the board. They created a division within the community, a purposeful division within the community to make sure that he got whatever he wanted, and the result is of the headlines that we're reading now. And I honestly hope to God that the Department of Justice investigate this fully, because it will bust make them wide open and get rid of the corruption here once and for all. Everything ties back to the Board of Education and the time that Romain Delaman was used here as a figurehead.
All right. And do you have an endorsement for the post 7 position at all? Do you want
absolutely. I think there's only one way to get the board moving forward, and that's to vote for Darren Latch for the Board of Education and Darryl Morton for the Board of Education.
It's a sweep by Darryl's. Darryl's and Darren's.
Daryl,
the 2 Ds.
It's the 2 Ds. All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate you coming in again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Good luck. It is a 7:46, Mix in the Morning.
Find yourself in a position